Heyo, let's talk a bit about what's new in this version of my structure generator pack. A decent amount. Like, I did a lot under the hood, as of course the main thing, but I also added a bunch of structures in the Megamix compilation of obviously the structures I add to the pack. That's the whole point of the thing. Well, I guess to start, let's talk a bit about how the actual generator works. Well, I'm grabbing a couple blocks here for example purposes, but previously, when it generated, it would generate kind of, boy, I need a lot of blocks for this, dear goodness. In slices, I guess, is how it used to generate. So basically, it would come out both directions, like, kind of just to the, I guess, render distance. And the render distance, it couldn't detect the chunks because they're unloaded, so that's how it stops itself. So it would scan out from the player, and then every frame, it would, or not every frame, but every tick, it would then, like, do a slice of this. So tick 1, then tick 2, and then tick 3. So this was how it used to do the slices of the world. And so, you know, an okay kind of biased to direction, because it would have to do all of these slices, and then it would loop back to the player and do all of these slices. So the further out your render distance got, that meant if you were going a specific direction, that sort of ping-ponging effect would take an increasingly long time. But also it meant if you had a very large, very, very large render distance, you know, it's slice, 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 it's coming along. The problem would be these slices would also go from being like this big to then, you know, being like this big. And that meant it got increasingly inefficient. So I've updated it to a new style. It still goes up to the render distance, but the new style actually spirals the chunks around the player. So kind of like kind of just, you know, a spiral just outward. Yeah, it just keeps going. It would spiral out from the player. It would check 8 chunks per tick, but it has 4 of these going simultaneously, where for the first one, it can only spiral around and around until it hits a certain radius. So it's checking a radius very close to the player repeatedly, so that there's always, you know, it only takes a second or two to do that entire spiral. But then it has another one that spirals a larger radius, another one that spirals another radius, and then another one that just kind of spirals until it hits whatever render distance you have. So eventually, so if like you're working around your base and you've got a huge render distance, yeah, those structures off in the very, very far distance will eventually spawn in. It just might take a while because, you know, the spirals are getting slowly larger. However, if you then go questing, it makes sure to update the ones closest, like the close areas around you, so that it doesn't, like, there's not going to be stuff ever spawning over top of you. I should note, like, at a render distance like what I play at, like, it's really, really good at not spawning over you. So that's a nice thing. Now another thing, as you may or may not have noted over here, which, whoops, let me just fix that. The way I set these spirals up actually has a dead zone around the player. So, granted, let's say it did get slow, the player managed to sort of outrun it, it won't spawn things on top of you. It shouldn't, unless it's a huge structure. Unless it's I think it's gotta be like 3 or 4 chunks wide, where like you've got, so the player's here, this is the chunk the player is in. I think the structure would have to be, you know, that large in terms of chunks. So, yeah, you need something very large to hit you with the dead zone. So that shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, the dead zone's another thing I added. Another thing I added is, a round robin system. Basically, if you're on a server, previously, you know, you had 3 players off in different directions. It can only scan from 1 player at a time. And again, the more players you got, this is still a problem. The more players you get, the longer it takes to scan this person, scan around this person, scan around this person. And so to mitigate that, I've created a round robin system. Previously, it just, okay, randomly, okay, you, know, it's completely random. The problem with that is it can select the same person twice in a row. It can select like these 2 repeatedly and not them, so it might take longer for them. Now with the round robin system, it always picks everyone once and then goes through them again. So it would be something like you know, just it's always going between them, so that kind of cleans it up a little. Not only that, but because I'm using the 4 spiraling system, those can be round robin to different people, meaning, you know, all 3 of these people could have chunks around them being scanned by the different scanners all at the same time. Which I should also further note that with this system, even though that one goes out super far, if your render distance is only that far, that means these longest 2 can only get up to that render distance. Which means, again, the render distance like mine, it's all 4 of them spiraling out and only hitting that distance. It's not loading extra chunks, just noting that. So, yeah, those are a couple of features. The round robin system, the new spiraling chunk scanning. So there is one new limitation, though. Previously, it would basically, okay, so here's it scanning chunks, and then bam, it decides this one has a biome to spawn. It would actually run through the commands in a way where it's like, okay, we got here, check the biome, okay, what biome is it? Okay, go through the pack pool, set that pack pool to pick the biome, then the biome picks the structure spawns, you know, all those steps that it has to go through. It would do it all here, and then there's the structure. The new system, however, and then it would go along, and, you know, it would do that again. The new system will go through, place an entity that it decides, okay, this is where a structure will spawn, but then it'll continue, and then, you know, place another, and then, okay, well, this is how many it does. The tick is over. Now it comes back, and it will, like, okay, how do I explain it? At the end of its tick, the final thing it does is pick one of the data packs. So, you know, we've got 3 data packs, 3 data pack modules. It picks, okay, this one is what we're spawning, so give that entity a value, and so then when that data pack is next down the line in the data pack linear programming stuff, witch and a cat, it'll The data pack comes along. Okay, well, there's a structure here. Spawn, do all your stuff. Go check the biome. Check what structure. Put the structure down. All that happens. And that's the one time it gets a chance to do that in that tick. Now this is arguably a limitation of the system because this means only one structure can be spawned per data pack per tick. Which means if you have a lot of structures spawning all at once, it's going to take a long amount of time to go through all of those, and it can get to be a little longer. It slows down the system. Now the thing is, then of course, could you move? You're kind of in the wrong spot. This means the next tick comes around and spawns another one. It's kind of working on this backlog of things every tick. And yeah, that could be a problem. And this is why I don't actually recommend setting your render distance, or not your render. This is why I don't recommend configuring the pack with the numbers set super high, bam, every other chunk literally gets something. It kind of relies on the fact that these structures are very rare, because look what you can see in the distance. There's a tree over there, there's this there, there's that there, whatever debug thing that is. There's only a couple in all of these chunks, so it doesn't have to deal with the backlog, because it's okay, in reality, instead of all of these slices, usually it's gonna be okay, here's a slice. Bam. Oh, well. This for now. Here's a slice. Oh man, we have a new one. Bam. And a slice. Bam. A slice. Bam. See, you can see what I mean. When there's only one every couple slices, you're never gonna have a problem. So for most cases, this limitation's not a problem. Now, why would I do this limitation if it's technically worse than previously? Two reasons. Well, the first reason is because, yeah, the game could get kind of crusty in the cases where, you get, kind of unlucky. There's 3 in a row. All that's happening in one tick. 3 huge dungeons can spawn. Your game is going to get crusty. So I spread it out a bunch for efficiency reasons, first of all. Second reason? Oh, the data pack is completely modular now. This is my solution that makes the data pack mean that all you have to do is drag and drop. You don't have to deal with that one step I mentioned earlier, where it has to go through the pack pull file, where you had to manually install the packs previously. That's not a thing anymore. The pack is completely modular now because of that, and it's amazing. I'm very happy about that. I might come along later if I decide that, for instance, the efficiency is worth it to do 2 per tick. There is a solution I can do it where it can run 2 per tick. Maybe version 1.0 I'll decide that's fine. Yeah. I don't know. For now it seems fine with 1 per tick, but maybe 2 per tick would be fine. Maybe, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll just consider that as the 1.0 version update, as I'll find a good way to do that, and, that's fine. I don't think 2 per tick is really that bad. The other thing that comes along with this update is here, one second. I am going to uninstall. See, this is the great part about it being modular. So I'm going to quickly uninstall Megamix, so it's just the debug pack. So reload. That is now uninstalled. Just that quickly, one second. And now that that's uninstalled, let me put land up to, 100%. And I can show you the other wonderful thing. Now, of course, you can actually see the limitations here. You only do so many per tick, so, you stand around for a second. And obviously, the game's gonna lag a little bit, too. The server tick isn't 20 times a second. It can slow down. My computer's not great. If you couldn't tell, my computer is not great. But you might notice, with all of these debug pillars I'm spawning, the accuracy is kind of beautiful. Obviously, I don't have the ocean enabled. You know what? Here, let's enable the ocean. However, I am going to get rid of the sky because sky structures are stupid. Yeah, so the actual accuracy of where it spawns everything is using predicates. I think that's how you pronounce that. Completely just perfect now. There's now like 120 biomes with this system, because not only do we have all of the actual normal in-game biomes, but I also have a couple like custom setup ones for such as like desert edges, so that Minecraft has an issue where the pyramids can spawn on the edge of a desert and it doesn't look good. So I basically built in a solution to that by detecting if the desert is next to a non-desert biome. So yeah, you can see exactly how slow spawning one per tick can actually be. Now, when you think about the fact that the game itself is also lagging a bit, you can understand why I wanted this for efficiency. But for debug reasons, it's completely functional. Now, of course, I can, down that back down to about 50%. Oops. There we go. 50% speeds it up by, twice as much. But obviously not every single one is going to get... these... You can see, though, it does slow down also because, the generator has already put all of the... a structure goes here. But, yeah, it's just... Give it a second. Dear goodness me. For most people, this isn't going to be a problem. Holy crud, what is this doing to my frame rates? Oh my gosh. Dear goodness, game. What are you doing? My computer is garbage. Yeah, so you can see now... Oh, what is this? Which biome is this? Oh. Which biome is this? Oh, wow. Sorry, I got a little confused. This is one of my custom... I think I call it, Ocean Ravine or something. It is specifically underwater. And what the heck is going on? Oh gosh. Somebody save my soul. The frame rates are horrible. I don't get that. I don't get that much lag if I'm not recording. So I'm going to assume it's just the recording is really bad on my CPU. But yeah, you can see. Really wish I didn't fly into the ocean. You know what? Let's fly back. Let's just fly this way real quick. Oh gosh, you can see even in chunks I've already generated, because my computer is so rough, it's a little bit of a pain. So along with this major update of the full biome accuracy, there is also the, oh gosh, it's just also still just ocean. Why is the game decide to spite me? And just generate just endless oceans? You know what? I have a solution. I swear, if this puts me in an ocean... Oh. Why does this always happen? There we go. Give it a second. Probably. I don't know if it gets... Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, that's one thing. The dead zone, you can kind of see is working. Because, everywhere I am is not spawning. But if I go over here now, see, this is the one weird thing with the dead zones. It's great for teleporting and nether portals, but once you leave... Now, of course, you know, if your spawn rate's set to normal, this isn't a problem, but, you know, once you leave, it fills in. Yeah. Let us return that to defaults. Just to remind you that this pack does not run like garbage usually at normal spawn rates. Once it gets back down to normal spawn rates. There we go, I think. But my computer sure runs like garbage. Yeah, yeah. Just fly around until it gives me, I hate how that kills the music when you change game modes. Yeah, so you see, it's like immediately there the moment the chunk actually renders, which, again, I always have to point out, my computer is just kind of bad. If I go back down to normal running speeds, I suppose, if I can ever get out of this. I always get stuck on hills whenever I go to demonstrate this. I don't know why I make these mistakes. Yeah, you know, they render fine into the distance. Even if I, like, fly over a lake for a second. And fly up a hill. The render distances are fine. Usually. Yeah, stuff spawns, and it's natural, and it's cool, and... I don't know. It is very silly how, rough my computer handles Minecraft these days, because... actually, if I, pack, disable, I think that disabled it, right? Oh, I think, yeah, I know. If I disable the pack and start, like, flying around, it does have a performance loss a little bit, but you can kind of tell, like, I still run into the edge of the chunk render distances, especially if I hit a jungle immediately. The game really likes spiting me when I'm trying to make points. Jungle run's terrible for nobody. Or terrible for everybody, sorry. So, like, if I go back and then enable and then start flying around, well, it's gonna lag a little bit just because it's like, oh, here's all the chunks we need to scan again. Oh, I have it set to defaults, don't I? Get rid of sky. Yeah, now if I fly forward, you'll see the chunks are a bit slower, but not really by anything notable, considering how slow they already load for me. But, so that gives you a basic idea of how the performance loss on this pack is, considering it's scanning every single chunk in the world as you load them. Which, obviously, you know, you're gonna get some lag here or there from the internal server if you're running around. And recording at the same time, I should note. Yeah. Actually, let's run a little more forward. I'm actually curious. I have not recorded with this in a while. Yeah, usually your internal server is going to be reasonable enough. Just do a LAN world and get your brother to run it. Hint, hint. That's how I can play it smoothly. Yeah, my brother has a lot better computer than I do. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, it's completely playable, if you ask me. Plus, you can use I think maybe use a pre-generating data pack, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, what other things can I talk about? Well, here, let me install Megamix again. And actually uninstall debug. I'm doing this in a folder right now. Reload. Let me actually reset to defaults. And, you know what? Actually, I'm going to increase land by 10. So, what have I added in the Mega Mix portion of the pack? So, definitely a couple new structures. You can check the Minecraft forums thread. I think the trailer video is probably going to have a couple of them, couple shots of them. I've definitely updated a bunch of them to obviously be in all the correct new biomes. Am I gonna get lucky and find any of my new things? Is it just me, or do tundras load kind of slowly? This is actually a bad place to be. Well, okay, never mind. There's one of the new ones. So there's ruined versions of all my things. There's a couple new like procedural things, like the there's farms and updated palm forests. I updated a lot of things as a large portion of it. I you know what? Let's teleport again. Let's just teleport until we find somewhere neat. Because I am unprepared. I am in the gosh darn ocean. I mean, there is technically something new in the ocean. Here, let's turn the ocean. Oh, that might be too much. Okay. Well, wait, what? Oh, okay, this is normal deep ocean. It should be able to spawn here, right? The new thing I added? I added something in the ocean. If I can ever find one, because videos are hard to record. There they are. I added, what are they? Hydrothermal vents, or whatever the heck they're called. Yeah, you can just find, like, groupings of these. So there's a thing you can find. Whoa. Oh, and also, yeah, the ruins are for, like, every tower I have has a ruin version. Let's teleport again! Oh my gosh. Why is Minecraft 90% oceans now? Oh jeez, the jungle is a bad place to be. I need to stop having these videos go for 30 minutes. Okay, this is a plains biome. Cool things can spawn in a plains biome. I mean, there's a cool thing. Yeah, that's a nice sort of rare cool thing. Kind of rare, anyway. Oh, jeez. I guess that was in the dead zone, or did I just not see that? Yeah, there's a cool thing. Man, I just want to get lucky and have a farm spawn, but I don't think I'm going to get that lucky. The farms are the coolest thing I've added in this version. But, you know, maybe I should just hype it up for you to find it. Well, that's funny. No, you can find... Oh, well, never mind. No, you get to see it. You get to see it. This is a nice messy one, partially into a forest. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, new randomly generated things I've added. Definitely a lot to explore. And the next version is going to have big dungeons. That's my plan. That is very much what I want to do, is huge dungeons. Properly massive dungeons is now the goal. Just a nice, like, lonely little well. I added a lot of small things in this update. That's kind of the big thing. The big thing is small things. Ruins and all kinds of little items, and a couple big items that are surprisingly common, but... Oh, snap. Oh, snap! Oh, jeez. That's a weird combination. Why are you in the ground? Oh, because it spawned in the dungeon? Well, this is a beautiful combination. This farm has sunk. As you can tell, there are some, silly overlap things that can happen. But, and I've killed the music. You know. That's what happens when you have large dungeons. They can sometimes just do very strange things. Speaking of overlap, I mean, even right below this, oh boy, one of my favorite things I've made. Which, let me guess, if I just fly a little while longer, I can find another one of my favorite things I added. Or not. Oh, there's one. Welcome to the jungle. Yeah, you can probably tell I updated sort of a lot of the designs of this. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Interesting. That's actually one lower than it should be. Whoa, what are you doing, game? Yeah, but, sorry, I got a little sidetracked there, but, you know, cool caves that you can find all over. And, Flying islands are still here. I knew one spawned because of the stupid lag spike because of Minecraft 1.15 lighting updates are the slowest thing in the world. Little, encampments of caravans, I suppose. Ooh, now that's a nice. This is like a 1 in 1,000 chance kind of thing. Well, maybe not a 1 in 1,000, but oh man, yeah. Funny enough, they're adding this kind of thing in 1.16, so I guess I'm a little late there, or early. Yeah. So, that's like everything new. Not everything, but most of what's new in the new update. Updated structures, new structures, structures that I honestly might update again in the next version. Luckily, I can update Megamix separately from the main pack. That's kind of the point of it being modular. So hopefully the updates will be a little faster from here. So yeah. I hope you enjoy the pack. Give it a download. It should be in the description below. There's also a tutorial for how to make your own modular pack or module for the pack. Yeah. Also, how to install it, but that's like seamless. Sorry, I just really like this. Anyway, see you next time. Why now does it load super fast? Oh no, there it goes. Oh, I guess it's because I've already generated. Look, my gosh. Reloading a chunk is so fast. Holy crud. Also, this is a cool spot.